Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are giving you our first impressions of Frosthaven.
Yes, the highly anticipated follow-up game to Gloomhaven is finally here. Or this one is finally here. Not the copy that we backed on Kickstarter because that is still in Germany, but our local game store got a copy or got some copies, and I couldn't really live in a world where Frosthaven was like 2 kilometers away and not on the table.
Yes.
So it's here, and we have played so far 10 scenarios. We would have loved to play more, but we need to play other games for other videos, or else this channel would be pretty boring. And also it's been a lot of work lately in the evenings for me. But you don't care about that. You just want to hear about Frosthaven, the big follow-up, huge campaign game. If you know anything about us, you know that we
really like Gloomhaven. It's been in our top 2 and 1 games ever. So we have been looking forward to this game for a long time.
So much. Obviously, but we say it every time, no spoilers whatsoever in these kind of videos, which also means probably no pictures because we don't want to spoil anything, and people have various degrees for what they think is a spoiler. So you have to keep up with us and us. So we're gonna just briefly talk about some things in this video. The first thing is gonna be the gameplay changes and stuff like that. By the way, if you know nothing about Gloomhaven or Frosthaven, we're not going to go into detail about what the game is about and all of that, so check out other videos about that. Then we're going to talk about the Outpost phase, which is a new thing kind of in between games. We're going to talk about the story so far, of course, spoiler free. We're going to talk about Forteller Narration, which more and more games has kind of a narration to it, and we're going to talk about how we feel about that in here. And we're going to talk about apps, the official app and other variations on apps that you can use to play the game and make it smoother.
Yeah.
There's also loads of different inserts you can get for the game. We have the Laser Ox insert, and we're going to do a separate kind of review video for that, where we also compare the 2 variations on the monster storage for the Laser Ox solution.
Looking forward to that.
Let's start this. Let's start about talking about all the gameplay stuff. What is there to talk about?
Yes, the game is mostly the same. It's the same core mechanisms, and there is not many changes done to that. The scenarios in the whole are more interesting in this game, I feel like, and they've really taken it up a notch with the creativity and the possibilities that are envisioned for this game. So I think that is better for this game than in Gloomhaven so far.
I've heard that there probably might be, like, if you play Gloomhaven and then you went into playing Forgotten Circles, you'll be like, what is this stuff? And I feel like so far it's kind of like a good in between of those.
I agree.
Gloomhaven had like 90% kill all enemies, and that was it. And I love kill all enemies scenarios because they just give you the puzzle and all of that. But I enjoy a bit different here and there. And we will see if we still feel that after we have played more. But so far I enjoy the complexity of the scenarios.
Yes, so one of the biggest changes is the section book. Would you want to talk a little more about that?
Because yes,
you are the book guy and the reader of all the rules.
I'm just going to close up the scenario book because it was open, because I set up a scenario. In Gloomhaven you would open up the scenario book and it would just give you the whole thing. It would show you all the rooms and all the enemies and all of that. We played Gloomhaven kind of weirdly, where I tried not to look at it and we only set up one room. In this game, you have to do it that way, and I think that's an improvement, because when you, basically it says like, when you open door 1, read section book, this and that, and then you open the section book and you read that there. Of course, what is always a problem with these kind of games, which I always have a problem is it's impossible to not get any kind of spoilers, but you forget it so fast, because there might be like 4, 5, 6 things on one page. So you might see a word or a picture or something like that, but it's not a huge problem here, because it will be maybe like 15 scenarios until you see that page again. I think it's a bigger problem in games where you would probably look at that page later in the same game.
Yeah.
So I think this is a huge improvement.
Yeah.
Just like quality, I feel like this, I would have liked them to be better quality. I understand that it would make the game more expensive, but it's very thin paper. You have to be very, like, these will rip very easily, and also these kind of binding rips easily. So when that was when I first opened it, when I got it, I was like, oh, I didn't like that, but they work, and it's a great addition to the game.
It is a really long rulebook to the game. I figure it's even longer than the original Gloomhaven.
I think Gloomhaven was around 50 pages, and this is like 80 pages.
Oh, yeah. So, but it seemed like it's very well laid out for, like, returning players. What do you think about that?
Yes, if you have played the game before, Gloomhaven, like, it's been a while since we played it, but we played it over 100 times. So when I read this, I basically skipped almost everything that didn't have like a blue asterisk and blue text, because those are new or changes to the rules.
Yeah.
Before you come to the Outpost phase, and you have to read it all. And also, if you don't want to read an 80-page rulebook, you can check out Paul Grogan's 2 videos on the game over on Gaming Rules YouTube, and those are really great as well. I just enjoy reading rulebooks, and I like reading rulebooks because if I only watch the videos, I don't know what to talk about in these videos.
Yeah, that's true.
One of the things in Gloomhaven was that it was kind of hard to keep track of the scenarios you could do and what linked to what. I still think it's hard here, and I still really want to sit down and do what I did for Gloomhaven, write like 2 sentences of each scenario we play, so I need to go back now and do that for all of them. Because if we just play 2 scenarios, or if they're like 3 days, 4 days, a week apart, and we open up the next scenario for the main story, for example, I don't know, but you open it up and you will be like, and it says like, you wander, this is just random thing I make up, you wander into the wilderness because somebody sent you there, and you're like, I don't remember this. And especially when there's many different things you can do, and you can do side quests and all of that, it's hard to keep track of that. But here you have these kind of 5 pages, which if you lay them out, you have like a scenario flow sheet, which is kind of nice. You can then see like, okay, I like it and I don't like it, because it kind of spoils things that I would have liked not to spoil.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like, I know now that if I play this scenario, I'm gonna unlock, or I might unlock these scenarios. As Isaac has said very clearly, do not just open them because you played it. It will state in the rulebook or in the scenario book, because something might change depending on the choices you do.
Yeah.
Just like in Gloomhaven. But it's kind of an easier way to see what scenarios you can play. In Gloomhaven, you had to sit on the map if you didn't write it down and be like, okay, which one did we not check mark yet? Oh, this one, let's play that. And so I enjoy this better that way.
The newest, most unique thing about Frosthaven is the Outpost phase. So it's basically a more fleshed out experience between the games, where you're building up the town or like outpost that is Frosthaven. So you're building like defense and buildings with abilities and
These
stuff.
are not spoilers, by the way, because they are in the rulebook.
They're all in the rulebook, yeah. Well, I think that the building of the town so far is fun, but this isn't the reason that I'm playing Frosthaven.
No.
So for me, this is a tiny little bonus.
Yeah.
For me, I don't want this phase to take a lot of time, because I don't care like a lot about it. I think it's neat, but I like the gameplay more.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think basically it takes when you play Gloomhaven, it's kind of a couple of things you can do in town.
Yeah.
Like buy items, level up, create a character, retire a character, and some other stuff. And also you can play a city event. That's kind of the thing. And those are mostly positive, but the road events are mostly, or can be more negative. And I like that they kind of added, because it's more thematic. You are north in the country. You don't have the resources. You have to build up this outpost. And you get to choose kind of which buildings comes in there. And there can be attacks and all stuff like that. Which can then buildings can get destroyed. And you will then have to and maybe you will destroy a building. And that building is the building that lets you craft items. So now you can't craft items before you restore that building. It kind of adds a simulation, kind of like a city building simulation, and just adds it, and it doesn't take a long time. Like when you do it the first time, it will take a little time, but after that it's super quick. All the stuff like leveling up and all that's going to take the same time as in Gloomhaven. All the other stuff so far is very simple, and I enjoy it. It maybe basically you can like do as much or as little out of it as you want to.
I like that.
But it makes that part of the game more fleshed out for sure.
Yes, and that also makes the looting of the game makes more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, because
it's more
you don't
fun
get only like money now. You get resources that you can use for buildings and also gear and stuff.
That's true.
The story so far. Let's talk about that. I think that so far...
No spoilers.
Yes. It's interesting. I like it. I think I like it more here than in Gloomhaven. I think that they have done an improvement, but we haven't explored that much of it. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
As with Gloomhaven, I'm not playing this for the story. It's all the other stuff, the gameplay, unlocking, getting new characters, learning new puzzles, getting new puzzles from the scenarios, all of that makes the game great. Never gonna win any Best Stories awards if nothing really changes up. But it seems like it's like better written overall so far in the game. Another change is now that Frosthaven comes already with Forteller Narration ready for the game. You have to buy it in the Forteller website, but it gives you narration for most of the narrative things, even events and stuff like that. We usually just read those because it's shorter time just finding it on the iPad. But let's talk a bit about Forteller and the narration for Frosthaven.
Yes, I really like having it available. Usually you're the one reading all the text.
That's
and
true.
It's more practical for like both parties to have someone read it for you. Like the narrator in it himself, I'm not a super fan of. Well,
you're saying it like very lightly.
Yes.
He's
I'm trying to be diplomatic.
He's horrible.
Well, I like him more here than we have tried the narration from him before.
Yeah.
But he's very like, oh, so very, very exciting
What
happens.
is a Hollywood movie trailer.
Yes.
Everything
Yes.
is super dramatic.
That's
It's like,
exactly how it is.
I'm just making this up again, so no spoilers. You walk into the grocery store and you find a carton of milk. You pick it up. Oh no, it has expired. What will you do?
That is actually like underplaying how dramatic he is.
And I really hate that.
Yeah, I agree. And the sound mix also is a little unbalanced.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's really hard to hear what the people are saying because there are too many sound effects. I like the sound effects.
Yes.
It's really cool.
Most of the
Just
time.
balance a little better. And some of the characters also have like some sound effects on their voice or a little weird voice or very weird dialects or stuff. And it makes it really hard. Sometimes we have to read the text after the clip has played, but overall, I'm a fan.
Overall, it's fine.
Yes,
I will say we use it.
We use it
Because it's better than reading it because
yes.
you get the ambient sound and stuff like that. But I would have given so much for changing that narrator, and I don't understand that mix. It's like, some of the things like they didn't listen to it because if one person listened to that, they would say like, "Oh, that's impossible to hear." If they show it to one person who hasn't seen the text 1,000 times,
Yes.
it's gonna be I don't know what that person is saying because there's some characters like oh no, you can't hear.
All of them were like that. I'm just kidding.
And they say there's like something happening in the background and it's so loud that as you said like it, but I don't like that at all.
A poorly executed, good concept.
Yeah, and I like Forteller.
Yes.
I like what they do, but they need to be better at it for it to be something that I will still buy.
The game comes with an official app.
It doesn't really come with it. You have to pay.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how many dollars it is, but it's 85 Norwegian kroner, which is pretty expensive for an app.
Yeah.
And it was, I guess, it's going to be like maybe $8.
I
I'm
think
going
so.
to guess
Yes.
for the app.
Ish.
And we bought it.
Yes.
We used it. And then I found out it had huge mistakes in it. The official app. For example, and some of these have been fixed now, but it was like weird mistakes. Like the monster decks just had 7 cards instead of 8.
Yeah.
Even when they did an update which now showed you how many monster cards are left. There's still 7, so you're only going to draw 7 of them. So one of the monster things aren't going to happen. That has been fixed now.
Has been fixed.
Because we felt like it seemed like it was like just a minor a coding thing that basically had like the one-off. Where there was like the last card in all decks didn't exist. Another thing that happened was that we got loot that wasn't in the scenario.
Yeah.
Which was kind of weird. So when I found those things, I was like, okay, is there another option? And then we found Xhaven Assistant, which basically has everything you need. It doesn't look as flashy, but other than that, it has everything you need. It does all the things you would like it to do, even things I had no idea it would do.
Yeah.
It just did that. It knew like special rules. It knew all of these things. It added things. It was better than the other Gloomhaven app, the Gloomhaven Assistant that we used, and it's free. So far I see no reason to pay $8. I love Lucky Duck.
Yeah.
Love Lucky Duck games and everything they do. But for now, the app is not worth those dollars when you can get the same experience or even better for free.
I agree. So if they were both free, I think it's like a preference choice.
If they fix all the problems.
Yeah, well, if they fix all the problems, which are fixed in most things that we have talked
Seems
about.
like it, yeah.
But when there's a free one and a paying one, choose the free one, in my opinion.
If it was like $2, no worries. But it's
Yes.
expensive and not, as you said, as good as probably
Yes.
the other app. So those are some first impressions of the game.
Yes.
But like some obvious like final thoughts if you didn't understand it, I still love the game.
Yeah.
I still love everything about it. I
Yeah.
love every second of playing it.
Yes.
So far I feel like this is Gloomhaven only just better. So it feels like a Gloomhaven 2.0. Like they've taken many of the things, like I loved almost everything in Gloomhaven, but they've taken many things and just tweaked them a little bit and made it just works better and smoother and all of that. Of course, if you're going to play the game, I highly recommend using an app. Of course, then you're only going to use around 30% of the components in the game, but it's worth it because you don't spend a lot of time on that. So what do you think about Frosthaven? Short final thoughts thing so far, first impression.
Yes.
Frosthaven, boom!
Great. Better than Gloomhaven. Super good. Awesome. Amazing. Use the app because it's much more easy.
Fun! Fun! A cannon of it.
Yes.
So those are some thoughts
Yes.
of Frosthaven. If you liked any of these thoughts, then it would be helpful for us if you clicked a button that says subscribe, because that shows us that we make some stuff that people might enjoy, and that makes us happy. It's kind of weird, but it's like that. When you have a YouTube channel, that number makes you happy.
Yeah, it's like
weird,
points
but
in board games.
Yeah, we get a point every time
Yes.
one of you click that, and we love points. And it's one of the few games where I will always be at the same level as Cinema because we have only one channel. Luckily, if you don't have one like underground channel
Yes,
that I
and
don't with
I'm winning.
60,000 subscribers, Cinema's Game Corner,
Yes.
not Johannes involved is the name of it.
Yes.
But if somebody doesn't know how they subscribe, could you do like a tutorial, please?
Yes, you kind of spoiled it already.
Oh,
you
no.
click the button
Okay.
down there. I can
Yeah.
point at it as well. You can also click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video. It's fun and it's free. It makes us happy like this. If you want to do something that's not free, you can.
Go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings and support us there. And that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.